Good day, everyone. Richard Cowperthwait for Northwest Access TV. Thanks for joining us for another show as we get ever closer to town meeting day. We're taping this show on Tuesday, February 20th, and our guest today is Neal Speer, the Swanton Village President. And again, boy, just 2 weeks away from town meeting day, the annual Swanton Village meeting. Yeah. Neal, I just want to start with I'll ask you later, this might be your first contested race, but you're in a contested race seeking re-election to Swanton Village President for another one-year term, being challenged by David Winchester.
Yes.
And I'm usually interviewing candidates in contested races together. That's kind of what I usually do, which probably makes sense. And again, I was disappointed, but hey, your decision is your decision, but you declined to be interviewed with David Winchester together with me. Can you just briefly say why no joint interview?
I can. So we can't blame Richard or David for my choice, yeah. But David is a talented young man, and I wish him the best. But my choice is I will feel more comfortable being just interviewed by myself. And if I'm going to get bashed for that decision, so be it. But that's the way it's going to be, right. And we can move forward.
Yeah, we'll move on. Again, not for me. Like I said, I like joint interviews. It's not the first time I run into this, and probably not the last time. Anyway, and just for the record, we're taping this show on Tuesday, February 20th, and I'll be interviewing David Winchester for a half hour tomorrow. So each of you will get a half hour. Is this indeed the first time you've been challenged, or?
It is. I came on the board in 1999.
Wow.
2012 to 2014, I took a vacation, and
Ron Kilburn jumped in for a couple of years.
Ron Kilburn stood in for me, but I stepped aside and let Ron go for a couple of years, and that was 2014. He left, and I've been there since then. And I've had write-in opposition, but just a few. But
no
so
official challenge.
This is new territory to me.
I bet.
So be it. And times are changing, and we've got to change with the times.
Yeah, and I should know this is not the only contest in Swanton Village. Like I said, I don't even remember. I don't think the last contest before this year for Swanton Village, but it's been a while.
I think the last contested trustee.
So Ms. Washburn, who ran,
was when Adam Paxman ran against Suzanne Washburn.
Okay, that sounds right. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
Again, another contest with Chris Leach, and I thought you folks kind of dedicating the annual Swanton Village report to Chris Leach.
Yeah.
I knew he had been on the board for a long time. I don't think I had any clue it was almost 3 decades, 28 years.
Yes, he came on 3 years before I did.
Of course he did. Oh, boy, I mean, similar tenure. That's Anyway, but that's a nice touch.
I will add, he's been a great asset to the Swanton Village team.
Right, so
we're going to miss him. So.
I'm sure. So again, he's not running for re-election. 2 candidates seeking to succeed him: Shane Mott and Susie Kelleher.
Right.
And I've interviewed both of them in an earlier show. Are you backing one of those candidates? Anything you can say about that race?
I'm not backing any candidates.
You got your own.
I don't feel it's right in my position to back either one of them.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the voters will make great choices, and what I'm hoping most is that a lot of voters will come out. We've certainly gained a lot of attention in the last couple of months with the proposed public safety building and a revision to the bond on that. It's certainly not because people don't know what's going on, because we've had a bunch of open houses, 30 some odd, open houses, and we just hope the majority of the people will get out to vote and let us know what direction we're going to go in. So.
Yeah, I stopped by the village office a while back. It sounds like you're going to get your best turnout, I think, in quite a while. I would hope that certainly seems to be the case.
And it's a primary vote too, so there should be.
Boy, that's funny. That's a good point. It is presidential primary. I don't think I've even seen one story on it. I've seen the candidates, 2 of whom in particular are pretty well known.
Right.
But it's funny. That's just getting almost zero attention. Anyway, I think maybe the local stuff's a lot more important. Neal, a lot of folks know you out there, but give us some background. I'm sure there's some new viewers out there. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yes. Like I'm telling Richard, I've been on the board on the trustee board since 1999. I've had my own business, remodeling and construction, in and around the Swanton community since 1972.
Wow.
And I'm in a position now where I can back off from my business some, and I'm hoping that if reelected, I can contribute more of my time to my community, because my community has taken care of me for 50 years, and I've given back as much as time allowed me to do. For 30 some odd years, I was on the Swanton Volunteer Fire Department. I've been a member constantly of the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, the position of village president. I've been on Northwest Regional Planning Commission for 20 years or so, so I'm involved in that, and a lot of their subcommittees, the Project Plan Review Committee, and the Transportation Advisory Committee. And I've been involved in our community, even previous to being elected to the board, and previous history. Here I'm going back history. Swan Summer Festival, I helped with that.
Well, who could forget the summer festival?
Yeah.
Not me.
And I think we've come a long way. We, not just me, and not just because I'm in a position, but we have created a good team. The Swanton Village team works with the Swanton Town team, and we have a good bunch of teams, the road department, the electric department, the fire department, P.E.G, and our administration. We have built up over the years a very good team, and I'm one of the things that I try to base my popularity on is somewhat humility. I think more politicians should be more humble than they are, instead of coming in with a big ego trip and say they're going to do something that is totally out of reach. So with this humility, we can listen to other sides of the story, which we have done on the Village Board of Trustees, and the trustees team has been good. So we can listen to some other people without totally disagreeing with them, and put the team together and make the best decision for the community, not for an individual leader or whatever.
Right. Easy decision to run again? Was that, did you not take too much time thinking you'd like another year anyway? Or does it always give that some thought, I'm sure, but?
Eventually, yeah, but like I said, my construction business, I'm cutting back on that,
Yeah.
mainly because we can't find the help anymore.
Really?
And, well, I'm getting older, but I believe I'll have more time to contribute to decisions made in our village to improve our community. So.
And you certainly have a lot going on in the village. You got a positive vote a while ago on the wastewater facility upgrade.
Yes.
And I guess that's moving ahead. Obviously, just looking at the warning, obviously the big issue getting a lot of attention is the proposal for the proposed new public safety facility.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And you already made a change in that in the not too distant past. Again, it was originally price tag of 19 million plus.
Yes.
And now down to
15.
worst case scenario about 14.8 million.
Yeah.
And I know you're hoping to reduce that local share.
Yeah.
But again, was that just taking out one of the phases, or how did you reduce that price tag by 4 to 5 mil?
That's what the basic reduction was. We didn't go for remodeling the existing building.
Okay.
That we took that renovation out of the bond budget.
Okay.
So, as everybody knows, we've had a lot of feedback, not all of it positive for sure, and of course, our timing couldn't be worse because legislature is promising us 20% increase in property taxes, and the state of the country is inflation or whatever. The groceries are getting more expensive, so it's a big ask, and we basically, what it gets down to at this point, we want people in our community to realize there is a need and we have to do something.
Right.
We went, hate to use this expression whole hog first on, because we weren't the experts. We asked the experts, and this is what the experts said we had to have for each department to be the right regulations for everything. And so we presented what we were presented to the voters, or through our open houses, and we'll see what they say about that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you certainly had, as you mentioned, a lot of opportunities for the public to literally check out what I think just about everybody would agree is a very cramped police department headquarters.
Yes.
I'm sure you would have liked to have seen a lot more people. Did you get a fair number of people who bothered to come out and check that out?
The early ones, we had quite a few, but the last few, we have one more on, I think, this Thursday.
Yeah.
But the last couple have been dwindling. We had 4, 6 people and some of the sessions are, the early sessions at 10 o'clock in the morning and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Some of those have been drawing a blank, but it's been a month and a half or so that anybody that wanted to know about it has already been there. So,
Yeah.
but we're hoping we get a good voter turnout so we can gauge the intensity of the yes or no vote. So.
Yeah, I would think you're not running into too many people who say, "Hey, what's the problem? Why do you need to do anything?" I would think you're not hearing that much.
Yeah.
But obviously, the price tag. I think I guess for some folks, it's going to be a sticker shock issue. I suspect.
Yeah, and I respect different opinions, but some of the opinions out there are saying that Swanton Village or Swanton Town or the Swanton community hasn't grown is bogus, and. Our departments have grown, our services have increased, and we're out of space. And we've worked diligently to make our existing building work for this long, eventually knowing we were going to have to go to the voters. And now we have to go to the voters and see what their opinion is on it. But Swan Village has grown, and the services that are demanded of us have grown. A perfect example is the most controversial issue out there is the police department.
Yeah.
And we have more crime now than we ever have had before, and it's not looking like it's going to reduce.
Yeah.
So we have to have a home for those guys. They're working out of a couple of closets in the village complex now. So, but the statements out there that say that Swanton hasn't grown or that we can make do with what we've got, they're living in a different world than we are.
I've interviewed 2 of the candidates for the Swanton Town Select Board so far, and I was interested. One of them, I asked about the big money issue in Swanton Town, I guess, is a significant increase in what they would be spending on police coverage and getting a little more coverage. Mm-hmm. But one of the candidates said, no, I don't support that. It's too much money. And I then came back with, if that goes down, what are you going to do for coverage for Swanton Town? And the response was, state police. Mm-hmm. And I kind of said, boy, good luck on that. No offense to the state police, but
right.
Again, they're stretched pretty thin. So I think I'm on safe ground saying anybody looking for significant coverage in Swanton Town from state police, I fear maybe dreaming if Swanton Village PD goes away for them.
Yes, right, exactly.
Anyway.
It's a tough situation, or how certain factions out there are making it a tough situation.
Yeah.
And there's also talk about the town starting their own services, either fire department or police department, and that's not reasonable or feasible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that could be talked about, but people that are, first up, people that are out there looking for a position in our community that have never been involved in the community or know how it works, they aren't aware of what it would take to make that kind of a change.
Yeah.
So.
And again, the change, Swanton Town voting on their police budget up, and I guess they would get some more service. I guess Village PD, they'd be going the town at this point gets, what, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week? And if they get approval on that item, that would go to, what, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Right,
They'd
right.
be getting a little more coverage.
Yeah. And there's a lot of falsities out there that I hope the voters realize when they get in that booth to check their ballot. And we, the village of Swanton, and our new village manager, Bill Sheets, have strived to get the information out there that they can use, the truthful information out there that they can use to make a wise choice on their ballot.
Yeah. Approval, Neal, approval of the bond vote for the public safety facility can you give me for the average taxpayer in Swanton Village, how much of an increase, how much of a hit would that be on the average taxpayer? And I realize you're hoping to get that number down somehow if you get approval.
Bill would have that. I don't have that off the top
I'll
of
do
my head.
another show, that's fine.
It's a significant increase for the town.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the village voters, the village people that are being covered are paying at the same rate.
Okay.
It looks skewed a little bit because there's more in the town. Well, we have the department, but the town.
More residents.
Well, the way we've got it figured, even with the increase in police force, not the public service building, but the increase in the police force we need one more patrolman and an administrative assistant. Both municipalities will pay the same for police coverage.
Okay.
So that's figured in. And as far as particular numbers, I can't give you.
That's fine.
I can find them out. You'll know
In fact,
at the next show.
I've got another show with yourself and the
Bill,
village.
Bill
We'll get
will
into
have, our village manager will definitely have those.
Yeah,
those
that's
numbers,
fine.
so.
I'll get into that on another show. So that's a big, the usual articles are on the ballot as well for appropriations being sought for the general fund, highway department, fire department. We talked about police department. With the other articles, anything, much of a change with anything else, Neal, for the village?
I don't think so. This, just the regular budgets, and they're increasing some, but as far as particular percentages or dollar amounts, I'd have to check with.
That's
with
fine,
Bill
but nothing, I don't think anything out of the ordinary.
No, we're moving ahead with the water line under the river this
Right,
year.
another project.
Bill has said that in the
Yeah, we've talked about
previous.
that.
And Riviera Hotel lot, we're in the final stages of cleaning that lot up so we can put it out for bid to put some sort of housing on there.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get some input on that, some positive input on that.
Of course, the electric department, the dam in Highgate Falls, Ormond Croft Generating Facility comes right to mind. Still immersed in trying to get the relicensing, which we've talked about on previous shows.
Yes, the relicensing of the Highgate Hydro.
Right.
That's an ongoing situation, and I think, I don't know what the result was, but I think Bill, the village manager, met with A&R last week. I didn't hear any results yet, but he met with them as to what they want us to do for our water quality permit.
Right.
We won't be relicensed by April of this year like they promised.
Yeah.
But we can still,
But you get
still
extended.
generate. Yeah.
Right.
And we'll see what A&R comes up with, so,
Right.
for requirements, so.
Well, for the record, probably worth noting for folks in the village, I think a lot of people know this, but Swanton Village Electric, you're still providing close to the lowest electricity rates in the state.
The third lowest.
Third lowest in the state.
Yeah, so.
No, there's a lot. I'm not sure, there's a lot going on with the village. I mean, with the
Yes.
electric department, water, that's, for not a lot of people, you got a lot of things to deal with.
Yes,
And now the wastewater facility upgrade that was approved earlier by voters.
right. And that's supposed to happen this year too, so.
No.
But, there's so many positive things. I've been waiting for 20-some odd years for things to move ahead as they have in the past couple of years. Well, since COVID. I mean, the downtown has come alive again. We see traffic down there, shoppers down there. Merchants Row is full now, and Mr. Winters and his wife have put the Ace Hardware in, and they're entertaining a new bakery in the old theater building, and hopefully a restaurant in the front. That's a big positive for downtown. We've got some streetscapes supposed to start going to the drawing board this year and possible construction next year. The village has bought the corner lot on River Lane for increased parking for the downtown, and they're going to put a handicap entrance on the south end of Merchants Row. Going to put a sidewalk out front, regrade Church Street, and change the traffic patterns. This has been in the works for years, and it's just about starting to come to fruition. Really? And hopefully we can move ahead in a positive note without too much reverberation. So
you think there's some positive movement going on with downtown?
Definitely. And the Swanton Enhancement Project is moving forward. I went to one of their meetings a couple weeks ago. The Beautification Committee is in high gear. They've got some pledges from the village, the town, and some local people to do some plantings, trees and flowers both. So they're on a roll, and there's a lot of things. And we're going to do some improvements to the Marble Mill. We're going to
I was about to ask you about
enhance
Marble
the
Mill.
Pickleball courts, and there's so much good about ready to come about. Hopefully we can move forward with that. So.
Yeah, of course, Richard Dick Thompson, rec path, fit and healthy recreation path, which I jump onto every week or two, and of course that leads right into Lamoille Valley Rail Trail.
Right.
You're noticing that sounds like that should be certainly a boost for the area. You're noticing, of course, we're in winter now, probably not so much now, but of course the flooding took a tune on that, but I guess the state got that repaired. I guess it's now completely open again.
Well, I see on my end of it, by my place, there's some activity on Dick Thompson's rail trail that connects to the Lamoille Valley. And the mild weather, there's been a lot of people out walking. So it's good that it can be used. And they started clearing an area for the kiosk on the entrance to the main rail trail up off of Robin Hood Drive. So it looks like that's going to be in the works this year too. So.
No, it sounds like that should be a good boost for Swanton. Longest rail trail in New England, I guess.
And there's a lot of people locally and from outside of town that come and park at the museum at the end of South River Street, go across the bridge and use that trail year round. So it's a big plus for our community.
Yep, that's certainly where I park when I jump on the trail. Neal, I know you love it when I ask you about a merger. Is there some talk out there about folks who would like to see a merger between the village and town, or you hearing no? Is that just me asking you about that?
There's some talk about it.
Some talk. I've heard some talk.
As far as my stand on it, the way things are going right now, I can't see it being feasible, either financially or materialistically. I think our best shot at not a merger but working together. Chris Leach has said this for years. He says the services aren't going to change. If you merge, the services aren't going to change. The town clerk has their thing, and we have all the infrastructure support systems at our place. So you're still going to need that amount of help to get that amount of work done. And we're growing as it is. So, and we don't have enough room for the teams that we have now. So I can't see trying to get involved in a complicated merger at this point anyways. It's something that we can talk about, but I think we'd behoove us better to work together as complementary boards, and we can get more done because they have certain equipment, we have certain equipment and talent, So I think the two municipalities could work together without merging and be successful at that. So.
Truck traffic, of course, anybody who wanders into Swanton Village is tough. I mean, it even, I'm up there every week or two, and I even forget the truck traffic until I'm actually in the village and stuff. I guess the hope is when they finish the rest of, what is it, Route 35 north of the border?
Yes.
When they get that down pretty much right to the border, I guess the hope is that may take some of the truck traffic.
Let's hope so.
Well, that's the hope, but just kind of one of those things that it is the way it is.
And the U.S. government has promised to expand the Highgate Springs border crossing.
Right,
to
that's in the
too.
works.
So
Yeah, good point.
hopefully that'll draw more truck traffic away from the village,
Yeah.
from the New York State.
Well, you just made me think of something. The New York Post, my guess is have you heard about what was in the New York Post yesterday? The newspaper obviously had a New York, kind of the conservative Bible, but I think the politics had nothing to do with it. But they had a front page story. I heard the folks on radio talking about it this morning. They had a front page story, and it was a reference to good folks in Alberg and Swanton just seeing more activity, illegal activity crossing the border.
Yes.
I guess this was a front page story yesterday, and I heard some of it read by the radio folks this morning.
Yeah.
Is that something you hear about or anecdotally hear about or see?
Yes, our police chief informs us occasionally about what's happening. It
Sounds like a lot more activity.
A lot busier than I even expected. But I was talking to a citizen in Swanton this morning that told me about that article.
Yeah.
So that's the second I've heard about it.
And I love one of the references apparently was the folks coming illegal. I guess they get some pretty good information. Hey, you might want to try to not cross illegally during deer season. I guess there are references that some deer hunters up in the trees and stuff would see people walking, by them down on the ground.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess that story got a lot of attention. Aside from illegal, are you noticing, as we're finally past COVID, I guess, more activity, more, folks from north of the border, more Quebec plates around Swanton?
Yes. Oh,
I mean, certainly a significant part of any businesses in Swanton certainly count on, a pretty good hit from Quebec folks.
Yes, exactly, because I'm in touch with the merchants on Merchants Row, and Mr. Winters, and there's a lot more Canadian traffic and New York traffic in our downtown now than there are locals.
Oh, really? And New York traffic too. That's interesting.
They were surprised at that, but yes, of course, this is the off season for the Canadians. So in the summertime, we do see a lot more Canadians since after COVID. Hopefully after COVID. So.
Hopefully after COVID.
So.
Yeah, we're down to about a minute left here. I'll give you the last minute. Again, make your case.
Okay.
Why would you like another year on the village board as the village president?
Well, I would like to thank the Swanton community for past support of what I've been doing and what the village trustees have been doing. And we're working together as a team. Like I told Richard before, my key is being humble, a little humility when you're listening to the voters, and trying to build a team, which we have. And I appreciate our teams. I appreciate the village team. And I hope to continue improving it. And we have to have trust to make the good team. And I believe we have that now. And I would like to continue in my position and improve our community because the community supported me in my business and as the village president. And I humbly hope you support me in the future.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks to Village President Neal Speer, seeking another one-year term as Village President.
Thank you.
And thanks for the time, and thanks to my producer, Josh Pryor. And thanks for watching us here on Northwest Access TV, trying to give you a lot of information before March Town Meeting Day. Thanks for watching us. I'm Richard Cowperthwait. See you next time.